Your Creative Force by Avianne is currently available on Global Voice Radio.
Talent is a flame. Genius is a fire. Broadcasting from the San Francisco Bay Area, the all-new all-hit show on creativity. Hosted by international award-winning artist and entrepreneur, Avianne. You're listening to Your Creative Force. And now here's your host, Avianne.
This is Avianne coming to you from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area in California, the USA once again. And we are here with Your Creative Force. This is our show, episode 24, and our theme for today is sensibly expanding a small business. Now, if you have ever had a small business, have ever tried to expand a small business, you know that that can be quite a tricky thing to have and to expand because there's a lot of moving parts and you are the only person, right? Really running the show, really showing the way. And sometimes that can be a tough thing because you don't have the luxury like bigger businesses do of having huge teams behind you, huge investors to bolster you. But I am here to tell you that you actually have some advantages and that everything you may be seeing from the outside when it comes to bigger companies and bigger businesses and how they do things and how successful they appear may not be quite the case. So let's jump in right away. Okay. Any small business or startup reaches a point where expansion becomes a possibility to consider, right? You will know if you are actually growing, if your client base is expanding, if your product line expands, if your services that you can offer expand or increase in level, right? So you can offer much higher level services. You come to a point where as a small business owner, you have to consider expanding your business. You have to decide, do I want to stay where I'm at, right? Do I want to stay like a level 1 or a level 2 kind of gig? Or do I actually want to up my game and maybe move to a level 3? Or if I'm a level 1, do I want to go to level 2, right? Remember, we were talking about the different levels of entrepreneurship in some previous shows. So this is where this whole thing comes into play, okay? So in episode 24 today of Your Creative Force, I really want to dive deep into this topic. I want to engage you with some very helpful ways of proposing how to expand a small business with sensibility. Because here's the thing, okay? I've read up on this topic so much and I have lived through this topic a lot. And one thing I can tell you is that if you move too slow, you often tend to lose out on certain opportunities for expansion. But if you move too fast, you can bury yourself in a lot of nitty-gritty and a lot of red tape, and in the end you want to pull your hair out too. So there are ways to do this sensibly. Should your business expand? How do you know it is time to expand? How do you expand your business sensibly without ending up wanting to literally pull your hair out, right? Or feeling like you are drowning in stress or even destroying what you have built so painstakingly? These and many more questions are answered in today's episode. There is no need to fear expansion, but there are ways to know if it is a good time to expand and to expand in such a way that you don't want to lose your marbles while doing so or kill your business by overestimating your capabilities or spreading your resources too thin in the process, okay? Business owners and leaders can avoid a lot of common pitfalls in business expansion by simply taking a deep breath and approaching the topic of business expansion with sobriety, objectivity, and wisdom. So let's go to part 1 of what we are talking about today. Okay, in part 1, I really want to address how do we know if our small business should expand? Okay, before I go further, I want to just mention something. I'm not telling you you must expand. Okay, there are certain types of businesses, we in the States call them mom and pop shops. They are local businesses. They may be your local car dealership, your local car mechanic, your local coffee shop, your local anything, right? Even your doctor's office, your local doctor's office, or any kind of local business. And sometimes people don't want to expand, right? They want their local presence, and that's where they want to be, and that's what they want to do with their life, is they want to run that local business, and they want to do a good job with that, and that is what they want, and that is how it is. So I'm not saying you necessarily must expand. You have to understand me. It depends on if you really have that level of ambition or not. And not everyone does. And if you are not someone who wants to expand your business, that is fine. I still think you should listen to this episode though, because I think you're going to learn a few things that you may not have been aware of before, right? So I'm going to start by mentioning some things to you that you may not have observed the way I have had the privilege of observing them, okay? In Silicon Valley, where I operate from, business expansion is a prevalent occurrence. I personally witness many technology startups rise and fall around me on a regular basis. These are usually medium to larger sized companies with a lot of money, investments, politics, people, and innovations at stake. A lot of moving parts to consider, right? I don't play in that field or even on their level, to be honest with you guys. In many regards, I am a smaller business owner and I don't really go the route of the medium to bigger business size companies yet, right? But I have observed them for a long time up close and I have learned a lot in the process. You know that you can learn a lot from these medium to bigger size companies if you watch what they do and how they do it, right? And I can tell you that it is clear to me where many of them go wrong when it comes to expansion. Guys, I want you to perk up and listen because this is what I have observed. I live right here in the middle of a lot of medium to big sized companies, okay? Facebook is around the corner from me. Google is around the corner from me. I really live here and I see a lot of startups and I see a lot of them really not do so well in the end. They will get one round of funding, maybe a second round of funding, and then many of them fall off the planet, right? I can mention several here, but I do not want to embarrass anyone or trash anyone else's business, so I'm not going to do that. But you can read on them, you can Google it. I am sure you will find out exactly what I am talking about, okay? So here's where I think a lot of them go wrong. First, I think they really get heady with success, right? They may land some big clients and big projects and it makes them look really successful. It really puts the spotlight on them. And then they start living in a bubble. They get cocky in a way because they hit some big numbers and impress their investors. Side note, if you know how larger companies do their financial projections quarterly, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? When it comes to medium and larger sized companies and there's a lot of investment money involved, a lot of what they do really comes down to impressing the investors and convincing the investors to keep investing, reinvesting, or get new investors to invest in their business idea, right? So that's very different than someone like me who's building up my small business from scratch with my own money, not having investors, right? I might have a business loan at some point, but I'm never really gonna have super mega investors to impress. Probably not unless I really go big, right? So that is one of their things that I really think they have this pressure. This can lead to them overestimating themselves, right? They go into this bubble where they think they are so awesome. And I have seen it, okay? I have gone to parties where these people are. I've gone to networking events when these people are. And it's interesting to watch this because they're all so heady. They're all in the bubble where they think nothing can go wrong and they really gamble really high stakes. They gamble a lot of money and they gamble a lot of future money on these ideas that they have, right? So they start overestimating themselves, and usually they get into a spending frenzy to try and prove their worth to investors, right? They get this idea that now they should start looking the part, right? They should have a cooler building or a cooler look to their business. They should be fancier. They should have better equipment, and that's all true. But the problem is they then get into a spending frenzy. And unless they have a really smart financial executive officer in that business, they are really going to spend money on the wrong things. I have seen that so many times, okay? They try to prove their worth to investors by hiring and firing people all over the place. That's one of the things they do. They move to a bigger building, they take on more high-profile clients, they start changing policies and marketing strategies. They almost go into a secondary startup phase where they overhaul everything. They may even fire their founders and replace their CEOs, etc. Okay? Now, it is certainly not my place to tell them how to run their business, but honestly, I don't see many of them making it very far after their second round of startup procedures and implementations. So, maybe I am talking out of my turn and out of my depth to a degree, I can admit that. But I don't think I have to be a genius for something to tell me that this is probably not always a great way to go about expanding a business, okay? This is something I've seen a lot with startups or people who are in their second round of funding as a startup, is where they start spending money on changing things that aren't really related to the actual product they're doing, in the sense that it makes them look cool, it makes them sound cool, they go bigger and they go better, but they stop innovating, right? They're not coming up with new market-related things. And in the tech industry, that's a death blow, because in the tech industry, things move really fast. And if you don't keep up, and if your product is not the top of the range, the most advanced, the next best, the newest thing, right? If your product cannot stay hot on the market, you are going to find yourself upstaged by a brand new guy coming on the scene pretty soon, and then the whole cycle competes. So it's really quite a cutthroat and vicious way of trying to expand a business, right? It's all about window dressing and trying to look cool to investors. And to be honest with you, I really hope that I never fall into that trap, because I think it can be very easy for us to do so, right? Any business can start trying to please people in such a way that it actually starts working against us, right? And we're not really focused on the things anymore that we should, okay? So let me apply these observations within a private, smaller business context. Simply spending more money or hiring new people, playing new politics, landing bigger clients, or doing an overhaul of every moving part of your company from marketing to service to product to your hiring and firing decisions will not guarantee a successful expansion. Okay? If you don't really know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and where you are going to fit all of it into your bigger plan and your long-term vision, none of these things are going to help you, okay? I see these guys come up in high-level positions in companies, and they try and put their own mark on the company because they want to make everyone believe that they are absolutely critical to the growth and the success of this company. And they do things like they start changing the website, or they start changing the corporate identity of the company, or they try and suddenly bring in a new team of fresh people, right? But if you really think about it super hard, that does not necessarily mean it's better, right? It can be different, but is different really helping? Is different really better? That's the question, right? You can spend so much time and money changing a website, but if your product isn't really the latest and greatest anymore, if your product lacks serious brand delivery, then you can have a website that looks like the most amazing website in the world, and it's never really going to work, okay? So these are typically the mistakes, okay? So you need to look much deeper into many other often overlooked or underestimated aspects of your business before you expand. As a small business owner, you really need to do a deep analysis of what it is that you're doing. And why I'm doing this episode right now is I am busy with this deep analysis of what I'm doing. I am at a point now where I hope to expand and want to expand. I have expanded to a degree in the last year or two, but I'm looking at expanding more, realizing at the same time that I cannot really expand unless I'm very clear about what I want to expand into. Okay? I really need to expand into something very, very clever. I need to be really able to upstage my competitors because I'm in the arts industry. The arts industry is also a very tough industry to expand into, and you really need to know your stuff to expand successfully into such an industry. Okay, so maybe it is harder for a bigger tech type business to clearly assess these details beyond just the legal, financial, and mechanical aspects of their product and of what they do. And maybe that is a big reason why they struggle to expand successfully for the long haul, with very few of them actually going all the way to become a Google or a Facebook, for instance. And maybe this is where small businesses can learn a few tips about avoiding some of these issues. Expansion is not an easy thing, okay? It's not an easy thing, but it may be a necessary thing, okay? If you don't want your competition to outgrow you, outperform you, and deal you a death blow at some point, you can absolutely not avoid expansion, okay? So, firstly, if you are the owner of a smaller business, chances are that you do not have the same pressures and whims of investors to consider like a bigger company would. This actually works in your advantage, okay? Just hear me out. Let's face it, when someone is breathing down your neck to perform financial miracles on a quarterly basis, that is a whole other animal than just keeping your doors open as a small business. So good news, you have less pressure and less people to please, okay? When you are still in a small business starting to expand phase, you can still expand and contract as you go. You can still morph into more of what you should be doing and less of what you shouldn't be doing. I'm in this exact phase with my business right now. So that's why I'm talking to you about this, because these are things I'm actually living right now in my own business, right? I am still in a phase where I can change direction, polish things, tweak things much more easier if I had like a mega corporation to run, right? And this is your time to do so, right? You can contract and expand. There are months where I tighten my belt a bit and I just keep the doors open. And then there are other months where I can actually move ahead on some expansion plans, right? But I don't have that pressure of having to perform on a certain level to please investors beyond what I'm capable of and have that level of stress on me, because investors, they don't want you to just be paying your bills. They don't want you to just keep your doors open. They want you to aggressively show them that they are getting a huge return on their investments. That's a heck of a lot of pressure. And as a small business owner, you do not, well, hopefully you are smart with your money, right? And hopefully you do not have that kind of pressure on your business, okay? And you do not have so many people to please. Secondly, you can pivot with greater ease into better solutions because you are not dragging several departments, moving parts, products, and people around with you like a big business does. And if you adapt faster and move wisely, you can build this way of pivoting into your small business so that should you in fact expand into a larger business, you have a healthier way of doing so with your ear close to the ground instead of making executive decisions that are missing a lot of critical information and knowledge about the smaller ruts in your machine's inner workings, okay? I am going to just use one little example here, okay? A lot of big companies actually don't make it because they don't pay attention to what I call the little foxes. The little foxes are things like if you have a super unhealthy company culture where people who are super manipulative and super incompetent keep getting promoted just because they have the right connections, and the people who are really truly carrying your business don't get those opportunities because they are being actually suppressed by these bad players in your business. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I have seen companies completely go under just for that one reason, because their company culture is extremely toxic. And at one point, what that causes to happen is your good people all do a mass walkout. I saw this twice now with companies that someone close to me have worked at, where people just get fed up because the company is run in a very unhealthy way. And when the business is bargaining on people to do their best work, guess what? They get there next day, people cleaned out their offices and they walked because they were so unhappy, right? You need to pay attention to the detail while you are a small business so that you can manage these things not getting out of hand as you grow, because any issue that is now tiny, as you expand, that issue becomes a mega issue. Trust me, okay? Lastly, if you are still a small business, now is the time to focus on the critical things that are still very pliable and very changeable. You could massage your business practices to be healthy, streamlined, efficient, and functional as opposed to dysfunctional, wasteful, and clunky. Things like the culture, your values, how you bring investors or team members into your fold, etc., also come into play here. You can structure things differently and maybe build some protections and warning lights into your operations to avoid making mistakes and snowballing bad habits when you expand. Remember, the bigger you grow, the bigger your headaches get. I just said it, right? At our second point, that when I was talking about how you can pivot with greater ease into better solutions because you're smaller, okay? It goes with my last point here, okay? You can structure things differently and build some protections and warning lights into your operations to avoid making mistakes and snowballing bad habits when you expand. Remember, the bigger you grow, the bigger your headaches get. And if you have questionable things going on right now, things you just accept while you shouldn't, you're going to have these things manifest in far greater proportions as you grow. And to change them then is harder and much more expensive, okay? You do not want to turn a blind eye to that guy who keeps harassing the women in your office. You do not want to turn a blind eye to the fact that your business is not automated and not brought into the 21st century and not really fully operational online. You do not want to drop the ball on those things. Why? Because as you expand, as you get more clients, these things become huge headaches for you. Okay. I can tell you now, I have enough students in my Art Academy business, the Art Academy part of my business, that if I had to deal case by case with each of these students as far as signing them up for classes, etc. goes, I would have pulled my hair out by now. All those things in my business are automated because I cannot deal with so many students each on a case by case basis. I just can't. So I had to streamline and automate a lot of what I'm doing so that I can take on a bigger quantity of students and also a higher quality student, because I can use some of what I'm doing, how I have students some sign up, I can use some of that sign up data to market and go effectively more after the kinds of students I really want in my academy. You see how that works? If I didn't automate my business and made it 21st century compatible, I would have really struggled to do that at this point. Okay, so I cannot tell you exactly how, but I can tell you that should I grow into a fairly large company someday, I will do many things very differently from how I see so many of these tech companies do them. And I can also tell you that some of these things are procedures, habits, and strategies that I am already implementing in my smaller business right from the get-go. So how do we know our business should expand? Well, there is one question on a very high level that you should answer honestly to determine if you should expand at any stage of your business. Are you ready? Perk up. Here it comes. Okay. Here's the question you need to ask. And you can ask this question at any point in your business. Okay. You should ask this question actually of yourself regularly. Here is the question. Can I serve my clients or customers who are growing in number optimally at this point if I don't expand? If your answer is no, then congratulations. You have grown your business to the point of needing to expand. And it can be scary, but it's actually a sign of success. So, that all being said, we are going to end part 1 of episode 24, Sensibly Expanding a Small Business, right here. And we will be back in a moment with part 2 of episode 24.
Catch the fire of creativity. Visit artbyavianne.com. Avianne. And now we return to our show with Avianne.
And we are back with part 2 of our show, Your Creative Force, episode 24. And our show theme for today is Sensibly Expanding a Small Business. Now, in part 1, we looked at kind of how you know you should expand, right? Now we are going to look at the why. You have to understand that your why and your how always remain important. It doesn't matter if you are Mark Zuckerberg running Facebook or if you are Aunt Gertrude running the local bakery. Your how and your why matter. Why do they matter? They matter because those are the things that will motivate you to do what you do, right? If you don't have a really strong how and you don't have a really strong why and you don't have a really good what, then nothing is really going to work for you. You're going to get depressed and you're going to totally give up because it's hard. It's hard to be in business sometimes, right? It's wonderful. It's free. It's joyful. It's exciting. It's great, but it's also hard. And if you don't have a passion for what you do, if you don't know exactly what your how and your why is going to look like to a large degree, right? And if you don't have that passion inside of you to do what you're doing, you're not going to do it long term. Trust me, you're going to give up because you're not going to find that it's not something, right? You're not going to find it very stimulating after a while. It's not going to seem like a challenge or something enjoyable anymore. So you need to really always tap deep into your creative force. Go listen to our first episodes on that, right? You have to tap into your personal treasures. You have to know what is your passion, what is your how, what is your why, and your what, right? So, part 2 today of this episode 24. Why exactly should a business expand? And this is important. Listen up. Your why is always very important, and money, though making financial progress matters, cannot be your deepest why. Here is why, okay? It doesn't matter what size of business or what level of entrepreneurial enterprise you're operating. I am going to tell you right now, here I come, the Mythbuster again, right? If you think you're always going to be financially perfectly successful, you are in for a way huge rude awakening, okay? Because there are times when you're going to have to tighten your belt and financially you're going to kind of struggle a bit, and other times you're going to be in abundance. It is the nature of the beast, okay? I don't know of any business, whatever the size, that doesn't at some point go through this, okay? You will see it when big corporations close down stores. You will see it when smaller businesses have to start franchising to start getting an extra revenue stream. You will start seeing this in businesses. If you look up close and you pay attention, you will know that to survive and thrive, businesses do really crazy stuff sometimes. And why? It's because they're not hitting their numbers, right? They may not be making a success out of something specific, so they pivot into a different direction. It happens all the time, right? it's an organic thing. It's going to contract and expand, and you need to be able to handle it. And if you go by, oh, money is my biggest motivator, well, during your tougher times, when the economy is a little tougher or things are not looking up for you so great like they always do, you're gonna have a hard time being motivated if money is your motivator, right? Especially in the beginning. A lot of times it's a thing you're building for the long haul. So it can take time for the big money to come in, okay? It can take time for the money to sort itself out. They say that most businesses take 5 years before they even do anything of significance to look successful, right? So if you make a success out of anything you do in less than 5 years, guess what? You're an anomaly, right? So money can fluctuate, and money does not tell you what your value should be or how to make your business functional and healthy beyond just looking at finances, okay? A business can be hitting its numbers. It can be monetarily speaking, financially speaking, it can be hugely successful. But that doesn't mean the business is healthy. That doesn't mean the business is going to last. That doesn't mean the business is actually reflecting your values, okay? So remember that. Money cannot be your deepest why. It can definitely be a why, but it cannot be your deepest why. You are dealing with people. Never forget that. People are complex, and money will follow if people are happy and satisfied with your product and services. This, by the way, would include the people who work for you. Very important. I am not saying to not pay attention to money. You absolutely should be on top of the financial aspects of your business. But I am saying to look firstly at your deeper whys, okay? Before we even talk money, okay? We have to talk money. Money is a very important part of business. But before we even talk money, let's look at the deeper whys. Here are some good reasons to expand your business, right? Some deeper whys. To be able to serve your customers better, faster responses on emails, faster turnaround times, faster and more elaborate services, higher quality service, right? To be able to offer your customer a better product or more advanced solution, something that streamlines their experience with your business more and is more cutting edge than that of your competition. I can right here tell you that I already know of several people who have verbally told me that they do business with me instead of doing business with XYZ, who are my competitors, because they find my business more professional, they find my results more high caliber, and they find my classes and my services as an artist of a far more greater value to them in many, many ways, right? I am able to really produce high caliber results with my students. And when people come to me for having custom art pieces made or created, they actually get a fantastic service where they know exactly what's going on. I communicate very thoroughly with them, and there are no misunderstandings. There are no guessing involved, right? They know exactly what's going on. A lot of artists drop the ball on these things, and that is where I swoop in, and I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not the cheapest. I know I'm not the most expensive, but I'm going to give you fantastic value for your money. And here is why. And I know exactly how to serve my customers better than my competitors. And that has always set me apart to a big degree. Okay. Also, it increases your ability to serve even more clients if you expand, right? You should expand to build a better business that can provide more opportunities for more people who work on your team, so you can have a greater, more positive impact on more people working for you. To advance the industry standard in your sphere is always a good why, okay? To be able to feel more inspired and innovate even more, increasing your ability to develop your own potential to serve others better, okay? And all these different reasons that can be part of your deeper why you want to expand your business, right? All these reasons come down to one thing, and that is you should expand because you actually care, okay? If you just expand because you're chasing numbers, you're not going to like what you're doing. You're going to hate your business. Your business is going to be like a job to you, okay? Where you're just trying to ask for a salary increase all the time, okay? and it takes the joy, it sucks the joy out of it. So my deeper why is definitely wrapped up in all these points I just made. I want to change my industry. I want to provide art classes and art industry services and art products, paintings, right? Creations, custom creations to people on a far more sophisticated level at a far better price point than they would get the same quality elsewhere, right? To be honest with you, I am very fortunate to be able to do what I do on the level that I do it because of why and how I do it. And that is a clever thing. That is something I keep tweaking. That is something I keep building. Sometimes it feels like a never-ending story to get these ducks in a row. And sometimes they feel a little bit like squirrels running all over the place. But because I have such a passionate why, and I think if you listen to me, you can hear it in my voice. I have such a passion for what I do. I want to deliver excellence. I care about people. I want the people who work for me to have a fantastic future, to have a great job, great opportunities in their own right. I want to build a company in the arts industry that is totally kick butt, that is totally different, totally beyond anything that people have ever experienced in the art industry. And that is my why, because I want to make people's experience with art better, right? I'm actually in the process of revising my mission statement, so I'll get back to you on exactly what my mission statement is in a later episode, because I am still working on revising that, because I am gearing up, right, for expansion right now. Wow, exciting times, exciting times. Okay, so the circle continues. You keep improving, and in the process, you improve the lives of others and the quality of services and products for many others. You have to understand, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, okay, the biggest why that you could ever have, the most satisfying and most gratifying why that you can ever have, is that you are actually making the world a better place. Okay? You are actually making the world far better for other people through what you are doing if you have a good why and if you care about people. Okay? You are, in fact, then expanding your business to positively impact your environment in a way that has a hugely positive impact on everyone who works for you, as well as your clients. You are, in fact, making the world a better place for many other people by doing so. Okay? If your why is motivated by your desire to live your potential in making a positive dent in the universe, that is the very best why you can ever have, because that is the kind of why that will keep you going far above and beyond where others would settle for so much less and even quit altogether. Do you realize that most people on our planet, they don't even realize that this can be their why? So if you're even at all, even remotely tapped into this being your why, that you want to live your potential because your potential will actually bring out the potential of other people in this world, that is a huge deal. Wow. That is the why that defines the heart of a true entrepreneur with passion and vision in their particular field. That is the why that is born from deep within your creative force, and the why that will prompt you to dig deeper for the unique treasures only you can bring to the world. That is the why that taps into your reason for existing and being a human, the why that cuts to the core and reveals the heart of the matter, that you are here to fulfill a destiny that only you can fulfill. Okay? That is powerful stuff right there. So even if you don't want to expand your business, just this little part that I just told you about, that is huge. Put that in your pocket, right? That is a good thing to have in your toolbox. Your second deep why that is revealed by your first deep why should be about how you are wired. Why you do things and how you do them, your values and your passions. It should line up with your natural passion for something, your desire to create excellence and live your potential. My natural passion is absolutely to be in the art world. I am an artist, first and foremost, and I have a huge creative passion, and so that passion is where I live my potential. And my values are good values. They are values based upon honesty and integrity and healthy boundaries and creating opportunity, right? So those are built into my business. That's your second deep why. And your third why should be to leave a legacy. to truly leave behind something you have created in this world, a dent you have made in the universe that will span generations after you, something you leave behind that your children or partners can take to the next level and that has a ripple effect beyond your own generation. Think of Alexander Bell, who invented the telephone, or whoever it was, right, that invented the first wheel, or Michelangelo, who took art to the next level, okay? We will forever be better off as a species because of them, okay? These are great people in history that have innovated things and created things that are incredible, things we will use forever in one way, shape, or form, and who have made humanity as a whole better because of what they contributed in their different fields, right? You have to realize that what you build as a business owner can enrich many who come after you culturally, economically, financially, and intellectually. So, really think about the bigger picture when you think about your why. It is not just about you, okay? Remember, I just want to recap this. It cannot be money. Money cannot be your deepest why. Okay. Firstly, your deepest why need to be about your customers, your people, what you can bring to the table. Then secondly, it has to be revealed by your first deep why. Okay. It is about how you are wired, your values. Okay. What matters to you, your passion, your desire to create excellence and live your potential. That should be your second motivating why. Your third deep why should be to leave a legacy. Okay. I want to leave something behind on this earth after I am not here that can go on and go on in the hearts, minds, and lives of people that actually make things better. I want to leave here knowing that what I did on this planet actually made something better, actually made a dent in the universe. Okay? Those become very important. And I think as we grow older, those become even more important for us, right? I find that I have different questions now about myself and my significance, life in general, but also as a business owner. I have different questions now and different ways of viewing things than I would have viewed them in my 20s, right? In my 20s, I had all these ambitions of just being super successful and making a ton of money, right? I think most people who have ambition on some level start out there. But I find now that I'm in my early 40s. I'm in my early 40s now, and I have a much different take on the world and a much different kind of desire to make a dent in the universe. And it's never too late. And I think with maturity comes wisdom, and that wisdom applied makes our impact actually far more significant and long-lasting, right? I feel like my motivations were more self-centered when I was younger, and now my motivations are more centered around the bigger picture, around humanity and making an impact on humanity itself for the better, and using all these amazing gifts I have, my treasures, my creative force, to really make things far better and more powerful for other people as well, right? I find that I really care about the people who work for me, and I really actually care about my clients, and I really want to see others succeed also. I'm not just worried about my own success and myself succeeding anymore. I really want to see, and I really want to help others to succeed in their dreams also. I feel like that is a part of me that has really grown as an entrepreneur and a business owner. So as I'm expanding my business, I'm also expanding my vision for the people who are involved in my business. And that is the center of my why. Wow. Okay. With that all being said, we are going to end part 2 of our show, episode 24 of Your Creative Force today, Sensibly Expanding a Small Business. And we will be back shortly with part 3.
Talent is a flame. Genius is a fire. And now we return to our show with your host, Avianne.
And we are back with part 3 of episode 24 of Your Creative Force. Our theme for today being sensibly expanding a small business. So in part 1, we were looking at how do you know if you should expand, when to expand, right? In part 2, we were looking at why exactly should a business expand? Your deeper whys, right? Those things that would motivate you far above and beyond just what is obvious, right? And then part 3, we want to look at how do we expand sensibly, right? There are some simple things you can do to expand sensibly. Now, I'm doing this on a very high level, okay? You may want to ask advice from your board if you have that, if you have an advisory panel like I do. You may want to tap into the wisdom and the insight of your coach. You may need to get some industry-specific advice. You definitely want to speak to your accountant. You may need to even speak to a lawyer if you want to expand. I am just keeping this very high level, okay? This is very practical and very high level. So this will help you, but you need to understand you're going to have to go beyond what I can do in this episode, okay? So let's jump in. This is really practical, okay? It is so practical that it drives me crazy to think that we stress ourselves out over this. And here goes, okay? So how do we expand sensibly? I came up with 20 things here that I'm going to go over with you about how to expand simply and practically and in doable steps. Number 1 is take small, doable steps. These you can plan in advance and you can cash flow them. Okay? These are easy, simple, affordable things you can do, like upgrading your technology, learning to use free apps, getting free training online to upgrade your skills and knowledge, or streamline your processes to easily accommodate more clients. Okay? Number 2, build bridges with other business owners. Network locally and online. Learn to barter skills and services. Expand your connections to increase your value as a person who knows the right people and can connect people and ideas. Okay? Number 3. This is a very important one and one we often overlook because we get very used to how we do things. Number 3 is cut waste. If there is a certain thing you do that you know is not really moving your business forward and it is becoming a drag, then either streamline it, upgrade it, or illuminate or eliminate it. Okay? You have to illuminate it to eliminate it. You have to pick those things up and illuminate it and look at them. Is this really working? For instance, I can tell you right now, I would never list any of my businesses in a lot of the printed listings. The reason being is that I know that my clients don't read those, okay? I know that it's going to make a lot more sense for me to market my business online, and I will be reaching a lot more people, and it will be a lot more affordable for me to do that. I am not going to invest a ton of money into printout publications unless I really want to target a specific market in a local field. I'm not going to do that, okay? So that would be a way I cut waste, is I don't spend my money on printed things. I do a lot of online marketing instead because I think it's better. People are on the internet these days. Very few people go and read printed. Like I say, I'm so careful. I do not want to seem like I'm trashing another business, but really pick out how you market. You can cut a lot of waste. You really need to look at where your clients are at, okay? You don't want to be advertising your business in a publication that people use for a doorstop. You really don't, okay? So, number 4, develop an upgraded marketing strategy. Learn to get online. Don't fear technology, right? That is part of number 3, cut the waste. Number 5, do market research. Deepen your understanding of what you do and the latest and greatest ways to do it. Make sure you really understand your target audience and how to reach them, right? Number 6, utilize the knowledge of experts like your accountant and a good business lawyer. If you don't have an accountant, get one. Also, utilize social media marketing experts and a great web designer. You have to get other professionals to help you. There is no way in heck you can do it yourself, okay? I know someone who tries to do all these things themselves, and guess what? In the last 7 years that I've known them, I have not seen their business expand because they try and do everything themselves, because they're trying to save money, and in the process, they're just walking around the same mountain twice, 3 times, 4 times, endlessly, right? And that is because they're not willing to take that leap and pay a professional to do things so that they can be freed up to expand. You will never expand. Okay. And if your family are still doing your books and they are the people who work for you and you do not have a team, you're going to struggle to expand. You have to get out of your mom doing your books or your wife doing your books. You need to hire a professional accountant and get it done. Trust me on this. They're going to save you money. They're going to save you more money than what they charge you. Okay, they're going to save you a ton of headaches and they're going to get you upgraded into a system that is far more efficient for you. So utilize professionals, utilize their knowledge. Number 7, get serious about your brand. You really do need expert advice. So start asking around and using your network contacts to find the right people to help you pull together whatever you may need to position and build your brand stronger and on a higher level than before. Number 8, don't hire too many people. Okay. Sometimes when people want to expand a business, they jump in and just start hiring people like crazy. That is not necessarily what you need to do. Okay. Don't just go ahead and hire a bunch of people. Okay. Start with 1 or 2 experts. Identify something in your business that you feel you really aren't good at or that is really being a time suck for you and get someone to take that part of your business over. Hire 1 or 2 experts. Okay. I hire a small agency to take care of most of my marketing and branding needs. Okay. Too many cooks in the kitchen creates conflicting brand messages. You do not want to hire a bunch of professionals all doing marketing and websites and branding. You want to really just get 1 or 2 experts and they have to be able to work together because if you have too many moving parts going on too quickly, okay, then what ends up happening is everybody's pulling in their own direction and you lose complete control and you want to pull your hair out. So don't hire too many people at once. Start with 1 or 2 experts and focus them on the things that you really need them to focus on, right? So 9, you have to hire smart people to help with key tasks. Contract and train people to utilize interns better if you cannot immediately offer full-time positions, okay? I'm actually in the process of wanting to train someone in kind of like a hybrid intern and contractor position to actually help me make my art, like do the basic things, right? Clean my equipment, do my undercoats, help me do large scale artworks that is hard for me to control on my own, help me with moving artworks, cataloging artworks, and I'm actually going to utilize someone who's like going to be part contractor, part intern to do that. So hire people, but you can contract people out short term to do things like that until you are sure that you really want to hire them. Contracting or internships, they are great ways to determine if you want to bring someone full-time into your company, by the way. It is better to contract someone and first check them out and see what they're doing for you than to give them full-time employment and now you're stuck with someone who may not be a good fit for your company. So remember that, okay? Number 10, provide incentives for key people connected to you to bring clients to you. Number 11, put together proposals and go after bigger clients, right? I've done both of these. I've given my people incentives to bring me clients. They actually have a monetary incentive, right? My contractors, if they bring me clients, they will get rewarded monetarily to do so, right? If I retain the clients, also, they will get monetarily rewarded for that. Put together proposals and go after big clients, okay? You need to go after bigger clients, okay? You need to hit a higher end kind of client. It's better to have 100 clients that will pay you $1,000 each than to have 1,000 clients that will pay you $1 each. Remember that. That's a silly analogy, but it's really true, okay? Number 12, diversify what you offer a bit without going off track, okay? So I'm starting to offer more services and products, but they are still directly related to the arts. They are still directly related to a creative journey. They are still directly related to small business and to creating art and being a better artist because that's the stuff I really know. Okay. I am not suddenly going to try and offer people yoga classes, for instance, because I have no idea what I'm doing if I do that, right? So stick to your stick to your trade, stay in your lane, and diversify within your lane. There is so much you can do just in one sphere, right? You do not have to go crazy outside of your expertise to do this, okay? Number 13, upgrade your location. Move to a bigger or better space to do business in. You need to maybe rent a small office, a second office, or look into renting affordable industrial space in a nice neighborhood. You cannot grow working from home or your garage or always having just one small space, okay? You have to understand if you want to expand, your overheads will increase and you need to consider that. But you can minimize the impact of that by just moving to a more professional space. You cannot forever operate from the coffee shop. You cannot forever operate from home if you're doing business with clients one-on-one in a physical capacity, okay? It's not really super professional. You have to start looking at having an actual business location if you want to be taken seriously beyond a certain point. It's very, very true. Number 14, write down and formalize more aspects of your business processes. Standardize things more. Make sure everyone is held to the same standards and know that the game is now more serious than before. I actually just had a one-day meeting with my contractors where I actually spelled out our standards, made sure everyone was on board, made sure everyone is on the same level, and I'm going to keep them to that. Right? And so, yes, you have to write down, formalize, and standardize aspects of your business. Number 15, promote trusted employees to take on more responsibilities. Okay? If someone has shown you that they are loyal and they are capable and they have good character, develop them and utilize them and give them more responsibility. Okay, I now have a lady who's taking care of some of my social media marketing, and she's also helping me write a blog. She's helping me to start getting my blog going, right? Something I've been having to do for a long time, but I just don't have the time to keep doing it. It's such a time suck for me to write a blog. And so I'm hoping to grow with her and eventually utilize her more, not just writing blogs and social media marketing, but expand into doing some more things for my business. So that becomes really important, okay? You have to start promoting trusted employees or contractors to take on more responsibilities. Number 16, consider traveling and strategically attending networking seminars to up your game and expand your connections, okay? Very important. Number 17, develop smarter strategies and work with a plan. Expand one thing at a time and grow as you see fit. You are not in competition with anyone, only with yourself when it comes to that, okay? You don't have to expand all 10 or 20 aspects of your business. I am right now expanding 2 parts of my business, okay? I have 5 different things that I would like to expand, but I cannot possibly humanly right now where I'm at in my life expand all 5 at the same time. So I'm looking at expanding 2 of those 5 things. And when they are running smoothly and good on track, I'm going to take a look at number 3, number 4, and number 5 of where I want to go. Right? So you need to pick your battles here, right? You have to decide what you want to expand and what not, okay? And work with a plan. Always think long term, okay? Then, number 18, deal with fears and past failures that may be holding you back, okay? Past fears and failures can really become a negative voice in your head, and it can really prevent you from taking the leaps you should be taking in your business. So deal with things. Go for therapy if you must, but you need to deal with stuff so that you can move forward, right? It's a lot about mindset. It's a lot about where you're at emotionally and spiritually even, maybe in your mindset, intellectually. You really need to be in a good mind space, okay, to take on an expansion in your business. Then, Number 19, get a business coach and surround yourself with mentors you can trust. This actually goes with number 16, about consider traveling and strategically attending networking seminars to up your game and expand your connections. You are not in isolation. You need to work with others. Remember that, okay? Number 20, learn to absorb risks gradually. Build some emotional and executive fitness for taking calculated risks without feeling like you have to panic every other day. Build your fortitude. Number 20, right? Wow, that has been a mouthful. And I am going to end part 3 of our show here with our quote of the day. Anthony Robbins, an international motivational speaker and writer, said the following: every problem is a gift. Without problems, we would not grow. And this is Avianne signing off for Your Creative Force, episode 24, Sensibly Expanding a Small Business. Until next time.
Talent is a flame. Genius, a fire. Visit us at artbyavian.com. Tune in next time as we explore your creative force. Thank you for listening.